The video you are about to watch is from an old woodworking magazine that I published during the years of 2003 to approximately 2006. This was a very unique magazine. It was purely video content and it was distributed on DVDs. The magazine ran for approximately 3.5 years, and then due to financial concerns, we simply had to terminate the magazine. We moved on to other things over the last roughly 15 years. However, there has been a request to resurrect this content, so I've gone through the trouble to get the equipment, the products, everything I needed in order to bring this content back to life to share with everyone. Here on this YouTube channel, we'll be putting up approximately 100 to 120 of the original stories that appeared in that magazine. The magazine was called Woodworking at Home Magazine, and it was truly one of a kind in the world. I really hope you enjoy these videos, and please tell your friends about them.
Welcome to A Turn for the Better. I'm Dick Singh. This issue, we're going to be doing a fun project. Back in ancient Greece, they used to have what they called worry stones. Hard stones that they used to hold in their hand and kind of rub together. And with this day's age of computers, telephones, all that, I've had a lot of people sitting at desks always asking for something that they can take and hold in their hands while they're talking on the phone. So we're going to make a wooden worry stone. A little bit more warmth in the wood than there is in stone. Also a little easier to turn. Okay, I've made them before, and some of the things that I think is beneficial in one is that it's got to be a very dense, heavy, hard wood. There's something about just the plain weight of it in your hand. You also want to be able to make it very smooth. The one I'm using today is going to be a piece of desert ironwood. I don't think there's many woods that are harder or heavier or pretty. So let's give it a go and we'll see what we can do here. Got a piece of ironwood here that I've cut out on a bandsaw. Must be at least 1.5 inches, well, about 2 inches diameter, 1.5 inches thick. The diameters or the thickness, they're immaterial. You make what you have, what looks good. It's going to be strictly something that we're going to turn and make decent. Using a spindle gouge, I'm just going to true this up. Just kind of getting the idea of where I'm at. I also like to check with ironwood. Ironwood has many little cracks in it that don't show up until you start using it. Like this dark area, I was suspect of that. I was wondering if there was one in there or not. All I'm doing is just trying to make something that looks appealing to me and also something that will fit in the palm of my hand. Okay, that shape seems to lend itself pretty good. Now I can only do half of this being held in the chuck. So what I'll do is just get this end cleaned up, or this side cleaned up quite fine. One thing you don't want on something like this is sharp edges. You want to just make it a nice smooth blend because someone's just going to be rolling it in their hand. That's its sole purpose. Of course, unless there's a letter blowing on someone's desk or something, and may be used as a paperweight. As I mentioned before, you can see on this ironwood, they're like little voids. You probably can't see it on the camera, but you can see the voids, but it almost looks like they're little knots underneath there, like a branch had tried to grow. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of thin super glue and just make sure that they don't go anywhere. I'm using a piece of polyethylene packing material to spread the glue rather than just dumping it on and hoping for the best results. Okay, I'm hitting it with a little bit of accelerator just to speed up the drying process. That's already dry. Now I'm going in and take a finish cut. Make sure your body movements are nice and smooth so that you can make your moves. Feel it occasionally to make sure that you don't have any spots on it that are high. Oh, that feels nice. I'm starting out with 240 grit. As you notice, I never leave my sandpaper in one spot. I'm continually moving it. Seems that if there's an errant grain in there and you hold it in one spot, it's going to cut you a groove. That's 400 and this is 600. Again, I contend you can never get all the sanding scratches out, the concentric ones, with the lathe running, so I always just hand sand it at the end. We'll give that a little coat of finish. What I have is just straight deft, right out of the can. Okay, we're ready to turn it around. The problem we have reversing this now is that this whole surface is round. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of scrap into my chuck. Just a scrap block, nothing special. This happens to be a piece of poplar. Now what I'm going to do is clean out a recess that will somewhere match the shape of this. Have to go much deeper. It's closer to a ball than what I had expected. That's even better. Now we're going to tape that in. I'm using double-faced tape. I know a lot of folks are afraid of this stuff, but it will do wonders for you. Just use a good grade of it. All double-faced tapes are not the same, believe me. I'm going to use 2 pieces in here. If I wasn't on film, I'd probably use 1. One thing I failed to show you here, I had taken a piece of tape, just regular masking tape, and clean the surface to get the dust off before applying my tape in there. Now it's just a matter of, by sight, we're going to line this up. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's not perfect to begin with. It's not a perfect ball. It's just a piece that looks nice. Now that we have our piece in the chuck with the tape, we should have a means of holding it a little more. And I've got just a piece of scrap that I picked out of the garbage. That should help the tape hold it, being an odd shape and we are not perfect. Now we'll just go in and cut our opposite side. What you hear hollering is my tool being too far away from the tool rest, so I'll move it in. We'll see how we're blending in with our other surface. Looks like it's going to be fine. Get that tape out of the way so I can see. Again, we want a nice, smooth, clean surface. Nothing says we can't even cut away part of our support here. We'll check for cracks. It might be one right there. Rather than taking a chance, I'll glue it. I don't know for sure if it was a crack. It doesn't matter anymore. Hit it with a little accelerator, and we're ready to go again. Now comes the moment of truth. We'll pull that back and finish off our very end. Remember, always push towards your headstock. I think we can sand this. We're back to sanding now, starting out with my 240. As you sand, feel if there's anything that would make it other than smooth. If there is, you may have to go in and correct that. Also, at the top, I'm blending my new cut in with my old, with the sandpaper. And the last one I'm just doing by hand, which is 600. Now this one I'm not going to finish yet, this side, for a reason. To get the tape to release, just apply pressure on it and hold it. And it will come loose. Okay, the reason I didn't put any finish on this is I wanted to make sure that my edges were sanded out good and blended. And they are pretty decent. Finishing at this point is probably the hardest part, and kind of, I don't want to get it all over my fingers. but I would like to get a little finish on it. Okay, that leaves us one thing to do, and that is to take and buff it. Moving on to the buffer, I have a concentric sewn wheel, which is much harder than the loose wheel, which will carry the wax. This one will carry a compound such as rouge. Charge the wheel, and it's just a matter of polishing it up. Always be careful when you're doing this. Hold on to your piece, because that wheel has a tendency to want to take everything out of your fingers. If you spend all the time trying to get a smooth surface, don't bounce it around on the shop floor. Now that we have it buffed with the compound, I'm going to move over a little wax on the soft wheel. This will make it really feel nice in the hand. And there we have our worry stone. I hope that this has taken some of the worry out of your next project.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you truly enjoyed it, please help us share this information with the rest of the communities. Please hit the subscribe button, give us a big thumbs up, and be sure to tell your friends about this channel. Thanks again for watching.